Hello everyone. Knowing that there's not many reviews of this particular kayak behind me on the internet, I thought I would actually post something up and just tell people what I thought of it, knowing that this is my first time experience that I've actually had a chance to go in the kayak properly. Well guys, just the kayak in question, just so you can see, it is this one here. It is the Shipwreck Arrowstream, which is a hybrid kayak. It's a kayak that can either be configured for one person or two people. Now, I think it's obvious, I'm by myself, so currently I've actually got it configured for one person. What do I actually think of the kayak? Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a look at the kayak now, and just in a little bit more detail. So let's come a little bit closer. So my initial thoughts when I went out on the kayak, well, just to give people some context here and context here in terms of my experience. When I was certainly younger, used to do a lot of kayaking. I've only actually been getting into kayaking over the last 3 years, of which I started off with a cheap inflatable kayak. It was the K1. Took me by surprise actually. As much as it was cheap and cheerful, it was actually a pretty good kayak. That pretty much got me hooked into upgrading. Now ideally I would have loved to have upgraded on to a hard shell, but unfortunately I just don't have the space for it. So this is how I came across this particular kayak, which, as I mentioned, is the Shipwreck Arrowstream. I will say this, when I initially went out on it, and I think it's just because it's sheer design, it's a lot more slipstream. The hull's a lot more angled. It is a lot more tippier than what I was actually used to, and it took a little bit of getting used to it. But I have to say, once you kind of got used to it, you kind of felt quite comfortable on it. The biggest critique which I probably have on it is sometimes the turnability of the kayak, but that just goes with the territory. It is a big kayak, and sometimes you've really got to work one side, especially if the wind's against you, to actually turn the kayak. It is a fantastic adventure kayak, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, and for the value of it, which I paid, I think it was about £750 for this kayak, I cannot deny that I've had so far today, first trip out, a really good day. Would I recommend this kayak? Absolutely. Actually, on my first try, I've paddled a lot further than what I would normally do. It cuts through the water beautifully compared to what my previous K1 kayak did. I'm not going to say that it's to the same level as a hard shell. It's not. I think it'd be extremely difficult to get that, but certainly far superior to what I actually had. If I was to throw in another critique, the only thing that did disappoint me was sometimes some quality issues that was with the kayak. Now I had some issues in terms of the seams, where first time out, the seams down here were all kind of coming apart, and you can see there's some quality issues just at the back here. Now I will say this, Shipwreck Arrowstream's customer service, and I've forgotten the chap's name, was excellent, and he very quickly sent me some glue so I could try and get these little bits down, but it just kind of took away the kind of halo and, you know, the wow factor of when I first got it out, and it led to a bit of a disappointment. Certainly for me, £750 is a luxury purchase. It's just my income and stuff, but anyway, let's escape in that. I just would have expected that a little bit more quality wise, but I'm not going to let that take me away from the review. It is an excellent kayak. If you are like me, you have just been experimenting with cheap inflatables, but you want to take kayaking a little bit more seriously, and you want something a little bit bigger but you can take someone along, then it's a very good choice.